Coming up next, controversy over a local wrestling tournament that drew more than 2,000 people. Why it's led to more than $10,000 in fines.
Plus, groups of students unmasked and partying in State College. Some residents are angry, but others don't blame them.
So to blame the students because the university set them up for failure is basically blaming the victim.
And how the massive drop in air travel during the pandemic is affecting our local airport. The Centre County Report starts now.
Good afternoon, I'm Risel Ventura. Thanks for joining us at Centre County Report.
And I'm Preston Shoemaker. Our top story, the death of a Penn State student. The university has confirmed a 20-year-old engineering student, Nicholas Papadopoulos, died in an off-campus apartment on Sunday. Penn State says the death does not appear to be COVID-related. An autopsy is expected to be done tomorrow.
An investigation continues today into the fatal shooting of a man by police in central Pennsylvania. It happened in Lancaster on Sunday. Police body cam video shows the incident as an officer responded to a domestic disturbance call. Police say the suspect, Ricardo Munoz, came out of the house and ran toward the officer with a knife. The officer fired and Munoz died at the scene. Protesters gathered that night, smashing the windows of police vehicles. The district attorney's office is investigating.
A sports event in State College that officials say violated coronavirus restrictions has led to more than $10,000 in fines. Reporter Leanne Stapleton has the story.
It was just not fair to State College.
Frustration and anger from some local residents because of a 3-day wrestling tournament that drew 1,200 competitors and 1,500 others to the C3 Sports Complex in College Township over the weekend. Many Centre County residents are not happy that a massive sporting event with over 1,000 people in attendance is taking place with so many new COVID-19 cases on the rise in the area. College Township says the event violated the local ordinance enforcing state COVID restrictions on large gatherings and masking. Businesswoman and State College resident Colleen Small is one of those upset by the event.
I understand the hotel industry, the businesses and things like that, but I think with all the COVID cases that we have here in State College, it was not the thing to do. Really wasn't.
Olympic Club Duels, the tournament organizer, posted on its website about precautions on masking and social distancing, but the township says social media posts by the attendees showed many not abiding by the rules. Township officials say they had no legal power to shut down the event and angrily said the governor and health department failed by not issuing an injunction to stop it. The township issued more than 30 citations and $10,000 in fines for violations, including C3 owner Christ Community Church having its license to sell prepared foods revoked for violating health code. In College Township, I'm Leanne Stapleton for Centre County Report.
Township officials met yesterday to talk about additional amendments to the ordinance for future events.
Breaking news now. The new COVID-19 numbers are just in for Centre County. The Pennsylvania Department of Health is reporting 1,449 total cases in our county. That's up to 212 from yesterday. The total death number remains at 11 for Centre County.
It's been 4 weeks since Penn State students returned to State College. And while that's usually welcome news for a college town that relies on students for economic survival, this year their return has been met with mixed reaction. Penn State's campus often looks like this, with students wearing masks and following COVID guidelines. But Saturday nights downtown, it's a much different scene.
I don't wear a mask.
It's downtown, more like uptown.
Many without masks and not social distancing. The fall semester brought more than 30,000 students back to town. A borough ordinance banning large gatherings of 10 or more people hasn't stopped many from partying. These streets behind me are primarily filled with college student housing, but there are some permanent residents who live in the area and are upset with the students' actions. Homeowner Mark Laffer has lived on Foster Avenue for over 30 years and says it's the university, not students, that should be taking the blame.
But so to blame the students because the university set them up for failure is basically blaming the victim. And every major university that's invited their students back has become a hotspot.
Police received 56 reports on gatherings between August 31st and September 6th, resulting in 10 violations. Over the Labor Day holiday, residents in the Highlands community reported a gathering of nearly 100 unmasked students. Some college-aged residents don't think the guidelines are the best way to control the virus.
It's one of the things, like, if we're gonna get past this COVID, everyone needs to get it. Like herd immunity type thing.
Not all residents are upset that students have returned to campus. Cindy Adams says the students are helping keep the town alive.
This town was not here at all before Penn State. If Penn State's not going to be here at all, then the town is, I think, in big trouble.
As Penn State continues to report COVID cases, Laffer says he's lost faith in the university.
Well, I don't think there's anyone in the borough, and probably very few people living in the surrounding townships, who have any faith or confidence in the university's words anymore.
Penn State President Eric Barron said a few days ago there are no plans right now to move to a fully remote class schedule.
More than 130 Penn State students who tested positive for COVID are currently in on-campus isolation at University Park, with more than 70 others in quarantine. Reporter Sarah Sutnick explains what life is like as a student in isolation at Eastview Terrace.
I had to take my roommate's wagon and put all my stuff in there for 10 days and bring it over to Eastview Terrace, which is like a half a mile from my apartment.
Just after an hour after Penn State junior Lexi Belnick tested positive for COVID-19, she says the university told her she needed to pack her bags for 7 days and check in at her isolation site within the hour.
The first guy who was bringing me to my room had a really hostile energy to him. He wasn't nice, he wasn't friendly.
With thousands of students back on campus, COVID cases are rising rapidly in the area. The university has set aside at least 400 rooms in the Eastview Terrace apartment complex for students who have tested positive. Those with no symptoms have the option to isolate in their own homes if they have their own bedroom. Students are required to quarantine up to 10 days. And while they're not allowed to leave at all, they are given their own room, bathroom, and are served 3 meals a day with 1 snack.
It wasn't food that I would eat, and my mom was trying to send packages, care packages.
Each room looks very similar to any other of the resident halls on campus. Yet with no decorations and little to no noise, students feel very uncomfortable and cold during their quarantining time. But Penn State hopes the mostly empty isolation rooms stay that way. That would be good news in the virus fight. In University Park, I'm Sarah Sutnick for the Center County Report.
The latest Penn State COVID cases numbers are expected to be released this afternoon.
A proposed masking ordinance in Bellefonte has been tabled by the Borough Council after community members voiced their opposition. If put into place, the ordinance would be similar to the one in State College and could carry a fine of around $150. Some residents and business owners say they're concerned that forcing people to wear a mask could push them to shop online or in other areas where masking is not enforced, instead of shopping local. The Borough Council will meet again this week.
In election news, Democrats say they're appealing a court order to put the Green Party's candidate for president on the ballot in Pennsylvania. Democrats argue Green Party candidates, including presidential candidate Howie Hopkins, did not properly submit paperwork containing voter signatures to get on the ballot.
U.S. air travel is slowly rebounding during the pandemic, but it's way down year to year, and some airlines are laying off employees. Reporter Grace Bradley shows you how University Park's airport has been affected.
The airline industry has been hard hit by COVID-19. After the United States shut down all travel for non-essential people in March, small and large airports that would normally be busy with passengers were desolate. With the fear of traveling in many states on lockdown, airlines at University Park Airport saw low numbers in passengers. As an airport that relies heavily on students, alumni, and sports teams, much of their passenger traffic was gone after Penn State University had shut down for the rest of the semester and all sports were canceled.
It really bottomed out in April when we only had 465 passengers depart board aircraft for the month. Now you compare that to where we were in 2019, where we averaged a little over 3,700 passengers a week that would depart on commercial airline service aircraft. So it dropped off dramatically.
This isn't the first time that the airport has taken a significant hit.
There's similar situations in terms of how it's impacted the airports across the country. 9/11, you had the recession of 2007, 2008, and then have COVID.
At the beginning of the pandemic, the University Park Airport was down 95% in business. Currently, they are down 75%. There has been a slow rise in passenger traffic in recent months, a good sign for University Park Airport. However, it could still take 3 to 5 years for them to recover from the pandemic. In State College, I'm Grace Bradley for the Center County Report.
Rogers says he's confident the University Park Airport will make it through the pandemic.
It's feeling a lot more like fall right now. After a very chilly morning, what's on the way the rest of the week? Nick has the 7-day forecast in just a few minutes. Also coming up, Governor Wolf's new rules for restaurants and bars are supposed to begin in just over a week. Some local businesses have strong reaction to the move. That's after the break.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center, keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, butt in the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep pedaling.
Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners when you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Governor Tom Wolf has announced that Pennsylvania restaurants and bars will be allowed to seat more customers inside soon. But other restrictions on restaurants and bars will also take effect on September 21st. Reporter Chanel Porter has more on the story.
Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf announced last week that indoor dining occupancy will rise to 50% starting Monday, September 21st. Although these restaurants will have a higher capacity, they must stop all alcohol sales at 10 p.m. and bars that don't offer meal service must remain shut down. Curtis Shulman, Director of Operations at Bill Pickles Tap Room and State College, tells us how they will adjust to these changes.
The reality is, while maintaining social distance, we only get an extra 5 or 6 seats in this location. So we're really only going from like 25% to like maybe 30%. So we can't really take full advantage of the raise.
Pickles is one of many downtown restaurants and bars taking this approach. Governor Wolf says that although he realizes the hardship that this has caused restaurants, they're continuing to do the best thing to keep people safe. These downtown State College restaurants and bars are few of many across Pennsylvania and the United States that have been affected by the coronavirus pandemic. Governor Wolf's health secretary, Dr. Rachel Levine, has set new rules in place to prevent patrons, especially college students, from mixing in bars. Penn State student Madison Hamlin gives us insight into what changes will be made to her friend group's weekend schedule.
We're just going to start like hanging out earlier and like drinking earlier, going out to the bars, and then I guess like all ending up at one place after, like in whoever's apartment like wants to host us, because it's not like we're all just going to end our night at 10. Like that's kind of just like the beginning.
Pennsylvania will release information for restaurant self-certification online beginning September 21st. In State College, I'm Chanel Porter for the Center County Report.
The certification program will ask restaurants to meet safety requirements, report maximum indoor occupancies based on fire codes, and sign statements acknowledging ownership is subject to penalties for potential violations.
The Red Cross says it's in serious need of blood donations, especially during the pandemic. And this year, to attract donors, it's offering an incentive. Reporter Addison Alver explains.
The annual Red Cross Community Blood Drive usually happens in the Hub Robeson Center on Penn State's campus. But this year, because of the pandemic, it's moved to the Days Inn on Pew Street. It's been difficult to keep up with the demand for blood since the Red Cross says 80% of its supply usually comes from high schools, small businesses, and college campuses.
So I think there's just a lot of different challenges related to how this pandemic is playing out is making it a lot harder to get people to come in to donate.
The Red Cross is also taking extra precautions to make donors feel safe.
Our staff are wearing masks. We wear the gloves. We wipe everything down. I mean, we're following all the CDC and FDA recommendations.
Upon entering the Days Inn, students will need to stop and get their temperature checked right here before entering the donation center.
Finding a location to host the drives can be an even bigger challenge than getting people to donate.
We just haven't been able to have any or host any blood drives. All of the blood drives that we should have had from March to May, and over the summer too, we have blood drives. All of them got canceled.
To drive donations, they're offering free antibody tests, and many donors think that's a great incentive.
I mean, I think especially right now, people are kind of curious. They're really questioning if they should get tested, if they should not, just because they don't really know how close to somebody is too close.
In State College, I'm Addison Elbert for the Center County Report.
Donors will get the results of the antibody test within 7 days of their donation. The drive is taking place today, next Tuesday, and Wednesday. Donors will need to register at the American Red Cross website.
Taking a live look at Beaver Stadium, I promise you that it is sunny out there. Even though we're not seeing that blue sky, it is looking hazy due to smoke all the way from the wildfires on the West Coast. So it is making it look hazy and blocking out that blue sky. Temperatures currently staying into the upper 50s here at Beaver Stadium. And we're seeing a lot of the same across central Pennsylvania into the upper 50s, Harrisburg being the overachiever, gaining to the low to mid 60s. A lot of the same across the state, with northwestern and southeastern cities in the state getting into the 60s, with a lot of 50s in between. Now, we are seeing great temperatures, but also great conditions sunshine-wise and lack of precipitation across the northeast and also Midwest, with the high pressure dominating the region, allowing it for us to stay clear into the middle of the week. Now, we are seeing those clear conditions across the state. Those are going to remain, as I said, into Wednesday as well, starting off clear on Wednesday morning and remain that way as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. But as we start heading into the later hours of Wednesday and into Thursday, that's when our next weather maker moves through. This is a cold front coming in from the northwest that is not going to have a lot of moisture with it, bringing in that cloud cover into the central part of the state, but a few isolated showers are possible as we head into Thursday afternoon. But today we are going to be remaining sunny, but also that haze is sticking around, so not seeing those great blue skies that we would usually see on a sunny day. Temperatures gain into the upper 60s. For tonight, we're also going to be dropping down into the mid 40s with mostly clear conditions sticking around. As we start heading into tomorrow, we are going to see that sunshine come back. Can't rule out the fact of that snow sticking around, so we might not see that blue skies once again. So it's going to look a little hazy, but we are going to warm up, getting back into those mid 70s. The average high for this time of the year is 73 here in State College, and the average low is 53. Now looking at the 7-day, it's a great 7-day. Look at all of the sun. I was running out of ways to say sunshine. As temperatures start to rise as we head into the middle of the week, the main interruption with sunny skies is going to be that cold front Thursday into Friday morning. Things will clear out as we start heading into the weekend, but look at the temperatures. They're going to start to drop into the low to mid 60s by the weekend, but also those low temperatures, we are going to see those dropping down into the mid to upper 40s, but also starting to see a 30 appear there. So if you're out and about this weekend, you're going to need to bring that extra jacket with you. Now I'm going to send over to Gwen with sports.
Thanks, Nick. Coming up next in sports, another college season is officially on hold. We'll have the details. Also coming up is Penn State's star tight end Pat Freiermuth opting out this season or not. The latest after we come back from the break.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Hi, I'm Peter. And there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends. Come on in! Help yourself to anything. That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit SaveTheFood.com.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans. Because love has no labels.
So I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If the door's locked, knock first, don't burp, don't swear, don't stare, don't use bad language, or talk with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
Don't interrupt. Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give your seat up to anybody who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you want to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
Good talk.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
I'm Gwyneth Falloon with sports. High school football is entering week 2 here in our area. We were at Bald Eagle over the weekend for their game. Despite losing 33-9 to Central, the Eagles players and fans know that during this pandemic, they're lucky to be playing at all. For decades, high school football has shaped small communities all over the nation. Bald Eagle is no exception. Fan attendance was limited Friday night because of COVID rules, but supportive spectators gathered at the Bald Eagle area high school field ready to cheer on their team.
It's certainly a new look this year with limited fans in the stands, but enthusiastic parents and students still seem to be enjoying their Friday night lights.
I like cheering on the team and watching them play.
Despite a loss against Central Valley, the Eagles walked off the field with their heads high. Kicker Carter Steer knows what his team needs to improve on to make the remainder of this season successful.
We're going to get in and we're going to work even harder in the following weeks, and we're going to get better each day.
Because of the ongoing COVID threat, this year's football season was on the line, so the chance to play means more, especially to returning players like Steve. Head coach Jesse Nagel knows how important getting back on the field is to his players.
Still unbelievable to be out here. Does it stink that we lost? Yeah, it stinks. But you know what? We're together. We're out here playing together. We're having, kids do what kids do. And, to me, that's the most important thing right now.
The Eagles are set to play the Huntington Bearcats this Friday at home. In other football action from over the weekend, Tyrone beat Bellefonte, Clearfield beat Penns Valley, and Phillipsburg beat Huntington. The NFL season is underway, and last night, Monday Night Football began with a doubleheader. Tennessee beat Denver in Game 2. Before that, one of our Pennsylvania teams took the field. The Pittsburgh Steelers played the New York Giants, and former Penn State star Saquon Barkley played his first game as team captain. The Steelers began their season with a 26-16 win over the Giants. Barkley ended the game with only 6 yards rushing. Is top Penn State football player changing his mind about opting out of the season? Tight end Pat Freiermuth reportedly joined linebacker Micah Parsons in opting out of the upcoming season to focus on the NFL. But over the weekend, he posted a photo on social media of him in his Nittany Lions jersey, making some people think he might be returning. The Big Ten could be voting this week on a possible return to play this fall. Penn State hockey fans will have to wait longer than usual to see their Nittany Lions take the ice this season. The Division I men's and women's hockey seasons are delayed due to the health concerns related to COVID-19. The organization representing 11 hockey conferences made the decision, but each individual conference, including the Big Ten and College Hockey America, will release their own start dates and schedules for the season. That's all for sports, and now back to you at the Anchor Desk.
Thanks, Gwen. Coming up next, a local nonprofit organization has found a new ways to raise funds during the COVID-19 pandemic. We'll explain after the break. Stay with us.
Taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
A State College area nonprofit has come up with different ways to hold fundraisers this year due to the ongoing pandemic. Interfaith Human Services has had a tougher time securing donations with the increase in demand for services and events being canceled. So it's turned to other ways to fundraise, including an online auction. The community care auction underway right now has lots of items ranging from gift cards to beds. The items will be shipped out to buyers, and a pickup time can be arranged for larger items. The auction started yesterday and will run through September 28th on their website, which is interfaithhumanservices.org.
That's all for today's newscast. You can find more of our stories on our website, centralcountyreport.com. Our next newscast is on Friday. But you can follow us anytime for breaking news on our Twitter, that's at Central County Report REP, or our Facebook page, Central County Report. We also have a Central County Report Instagram. Have a good day.